Party with your host, Dustin Rybka.
Hello and welcome to Sex Party. I'm your host, Dustin Rybka. With me on the show this week is adult performer and OnlyFans creator, Abi James. Abi got into this business later in life. She's in her 50s. You would never know it. But she got into OnlyFans after a local photographer asked her if she would be willing to do a collaboration with a local couple that was doing OnlyFans, which led to the mainstream porn industry. Within a very short amount of time, she found herself on the front page of Pornhub. She was discovered by a couple of her kids, and we talk about how that went. We also talk about the things she's into, doing a DP, having an orgasm in a DP, all the things she still wants to do. Abi's fun. You guys are going to love this conversation. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Abi James.
This week's conversation.
You were asking if you should take your glasses off or leave them on. It's completely up to you. Abi James, welcome to Sex Party. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I already know this is going to be a fun one. We talked briefly before we started recording. It's been a crazy day. I don't even want to say what day it is when I'm recording this, but maybe they'll pick up on like the subtle cues throughout the episode, because how could we not talk about it?
I know.
Yeah. Well, before we even get to the self intro piece, I mean, how has your day been? Are you doing good? Is it sunny where you are?
I'm doing great. It's been a great day. It's been a busy day. It was sunny earlier, but as the day progressed, it got hazy. It reminds me of like where you're from, where you're at, you know,
like Gotham City. Yeah, it's very what's
totally
going on. Okay, so if they're listening or watching, they should know who you are. But we love noobs here, and we love, there's no shame. Everyone is welcome. Come on in, join the party, grab a drink, right?
That's right.
So for those people who may be unaware of who you are and what you do, could you talk a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am Abi James. It's Abi James. I'm based right now in Florida, but I'm an adult model and entertainer. So
No, go ahead. You can just talk as much as you want. The more you talk and the less I talk, the happier they are. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I could talk and talk and talk.
Good. So, you're in the right place.
Yeah. What would you like me to start with?
So okay, you downplayed it. Let's be real. You kick ass at what you do. I mean, everybody, when they hear Abi James, they know it's only ABI, not ABBI or ABBY. So come on, let's give you some credit. I mean, how long have you been in the adult industry? What does it feel like to be Abi James?
Well, so I started dabbling in content last year, October, and I was just doing, just content creating for, those pages, And
sure.
Quickly,
like OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then moving forward, I was doing some modeling work, and a photographer offered to shoot me, and he came over and he was like, "Hey, have you thought about doing OnlyFans?" And I was like, "Who wants to see a 54-year-old, naked?" And he's like, "Are you kidding?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And he's like, "I shoot content for a couple that do pretty well, and they just live minutes away from you." And I was like, "Give him my number." I'm like, "Give him my number, have him reach out." Honestly, at that point in time, of course, everyone has heard of OnlyFans, but I never had really been on it to navigate through the site. So the next day he called me and he was like, "They would love to meet you." So literally, everything has just kind of just fallen in piece by piece like a jigsaw puzzle. I'm kind of pretty lucky.
Yeah. I mean, so okay. We're gonna go back to the couple that you shot content with, but like what shooting content, and and doing, you know, all the adult things. What does a typical day look like for you? Like,
Like
because
now.
yeah, I mean, you're in charge of your own content, right? On OnlyFans, and are we on Loyal Fans or wherever we're at, all the places, right? Fansly,
Mhm.
Fanatics, I think is like a fucking not even a fucking website for adult stuff. It's like they sell hats or something, but I always throw them in there.
There's so many platforms, and then
Yeah.
just when you get comfortable, there's more that pop up.
Hmm.
And I always say it's a rabbit hole, right? It's a rabbit hole because balance is the biggest challenge, you know. I mean, the reason why we do this generally is for family, kids, obviously, because we enjoy it. But you
Sure.
know, it's a balance, and it's a hard balance, especially now because, like, I feel like I'm still new. I'm still
Sure.
new, and I've been again. Everything's just coming together so quick, and I'm like, sometimes it's pretty overwhelming, but you know,
Yeah.
there's you're gonna have your good days and your bad days, and I'm not getting any younger, so you know,
Well, says you. I mean,
think about
whatever.
the
I
segment. Come on.
so okay. So when you're shooting content, like when you're like on for all those platforms, right? Um, what does like? Are you just shooting like? Do you like double up on stuff? Ever do you do different things every day? Are you like taking a lot of requests? Do you have like a wish list of things that you want to do? I mean, what kind of stuff are you doing? Like, let's get into all that. Cause like, what does your day look like? You wake up and you're like, fuck, I have 107. Will you masturbate into a tube or whatever the fuck, right? So like, where does your day go from there?
So I actually attempted to start like a calendar really to like assign like Monday my social media day, you know, Tuesday filming my safe for work reels for the following, you know,
Mm,
couple weeks. Like I really tried hard to you know, I try to stay close to that. However, things happen because you know I might have a day where I'm scheduled to do content with somebody and they could be sick, or something could come up. I could somebody could have problems with their car, their kid. You know, I mean, shit happens, right? So you have to be, you know, flexible. And then as soon
yeah.
as you kind of fall off that routine, it's kind of hard to get back on.
Yeah.
But what I've been trying to do is like get all my content filmed like in a block of the month and then spend the next couple weeks editing it and scheduling it and getting it, you know, scheduled to go out.
Yeah.
Now, does it happen? Because you, of course, you know, I do studio work too, you know,
Hmm.
so but
Yeah, I mean, and so on the platforms, like, what are the typical requests? Is it a lot of like, hey, like, I want, I mean, and how much of it is like crazy stuff? Let's be real. We're not kink shaming, you know, but I would imagine.
yeah, I don't get a lot of extreme requests. I don't. It's probably because, you know, well, I mean, let's face it, it's how you brand yourself. But I could
Sure.
be crazy and I could be kinky, but I think because when I started out, I started like classy and sassy, which of course that is my brand, but I got a little bit of a wild side. So when I came out like with my first anal, they were like, she does anal, and I was like, you just wait and see what she does, you know. You know? So,
No,
but
that's amazing.
you know, I just a lot of boy girl, of course. I don't get a lot of solo requests, which a lot of female talent kicks ass with solo. I don't get a lot, but hey, you know, I'm here to please. Anyone could ask for anything, and all we could do is try to make it happen, right?
Yeah. So, so do you, when you get requests for like a boy girl, how specific are they getting? Right.
So the form that I have is pretty specific because I want to give them what they want. You
Hmm.
know, like if someone just says, "Oh, I want a 10-minute of you giving someone a blowjob and then him painting your face," that's really, I mean, I got tons of that on, you know, but
Sure.
you could go look at that. If you want something custom, I want to know specifics. I want to know, like, do you want a lot of eye contact? Do you want a lot of dirty talk? Do you want, you know, what do you want? What do you want? What makes you tick? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the devil's in the details, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
totally.
and the devil will make you come. And that's really smart. And I feel like, I think, speaking from my own experience, which, to be honest, I've bought content on OnlyFans in the past, but I'm just not. I'm the guy who's in the strip club with like $5 in his pocket and will tell you, like, I only have $5, like, leave me alone. Like, it takes me a lot to commit to buying. And even
Sounds
like
a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, usually, yeah. I feel like some people would think that is definitely a challenge. But I think for me personally, because I'm all about like pro sex work, like get the fucking bag, ladies, dudes, whoever, get the fucking bag, however you can. But for me, when I go to OnlyFans, it's like you get these messages and it's like there's no preview, right? And it's just like it's like double penetration. And then it's like, okay, $30. So if you were to buy that and it's just a woman with like 2 dildos, you're going to be kind of upset or like disappointed that it's really not double penetrate. So you have to ask these like questions. But with you giving like asking that, like, do you want a lot of eye contact? Do you want a fucking spitty? Do you want whatever, right? That has to be like a game changer. I mean, because again, only from my limited experience, but I have had a lot of OnlyFans creators on the show, and the ones who say that they are really detailed, right? And it's almost like this sort of relationship that they develop with the details. Like, what do you like? Tell me, and I'll work it out, right? Those are the people that make.
If you have a favorite color, because I try to wear that color lingerie.
See, that's what I mean. You're such a fucking pro with that. Where do you think that? Where do you think that comes from, though? Like the detailed stuff, because that's a big one.
I don't know. I mean, I've always been that way through my whole life. I had a business, and it's all about the little things, the little extra things. Because let's face it, you could go watch a blowjob anywhere, right?
Anywhere, yeah.
It's just like you could go get a haircut anywhere, right? But it's the little, you could go dinner anywhere. But why do you go to that favorite restaurant? It's the little extra things they do. They remember your name. They have your drink at the table before you get there. Same thing. I feel that way with my fans. Like I say it all the time when I'm doing pro scenes, right? It's for the best angle. It's for the best shot for the camera. But when you watch my content, I don't do content with just anybody. I have to have a connection. Like if I am shooting content, I have a connection with that person. I want to have a real orgasm. I want them to have a real orgasm. And I want my fans to know that that's real. That's real. And,
yeah, I mean, that again, like, that's something I think that you can't fake. You cannot fake details. You cannot fake I give a shit. You cannot fake, well, you could fake I give a shit, but you can't fake a connection. You know what I mean? Like, because people will pick up on that. I think there's something about sexuality that's different than just like lying to someone. It's like, oh no, I wasn't there at that time. No, it wasn't me. Like, you could get away with that easily, but your eyes, if you know where to look, your body language, that shit doesn't lie, right? And the reverse of that, it's like people will pick up on if you are actually coming for real. They're going to be like, oh shit, spend, because they're going to feel better about what they're watching and what they're buying. I think that's huge. And you said that you had a business. It says in the notes, the wonderful notes from Erica Icon at the Rub PR. We love Erica. Shout out. She's
Erica.
fucking,
she's pretty awesome.
Talk about a legend, right?
Right. I know. Big things are coming.
Yeah. She's got nominated for some huge X-Biz thing. Come on, right? Just give her the award already. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So
get you there. Oh, we're gonna get you there.
For real. Yeah. But it says that you were in the salon spa industry for like 20 years. So are we talking like what kind of salon spa? Because this is sort of horny. I used to be a nightclub promoter. I used to go right to all of the salons and the spas because those were my girls. They pack the clubs. They know what's up. So like, what kind of business was it? And let's talk about that because I think it's kind of fun.
I mean, it was full service, not that kind of full service, but but we did hair, we did skin, we did nails, we did everything there. I come from up north, so I had a salon and spa up there. When I moved to
Mhm.
Florida, I thought I was going to retire. But the opportunity fell into my lap and I took it, and I exited while they were still applauding, thank goodness, Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. But we did a lot, and a lot was with I helped a lot of clients transition, going through
Mm.
transition.
Mhm.
Um, a lot with strippers, having them come and get their hair
Sure.
done. And it's all about customer service networking. It's all about making somebody feel good about themselves, right? That way or
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah, no, it's a service industry, but I think, and the reason I like brought it up right after you said you had a business, because I wanted that was my chance as a podcaster to grab it and you go with the natural flow of things, right? We take those big fucking grabs when we can get them, and I think I did nightlife for a long time, and like I said, I would always those are the first women that I would hit up, right? And slowly over the years, I built this like insanely like smart. You have to be smart or you don't last in that industry, right? If you're gonna like cutting someone's hair, it's so like intuitive. If you're like like massaging someone, like you won't really last long if you're not intelligent, I feel like. But
Yeah.
also like those like why are the girlies who work in the fucking salons like the best, horniest, like most fun to take to the club? Because that's like such a thing.
Because when you work in that type of industry, you're depending on what type of an environment you're working in, right? You're free to express yourself through your clothing, your creativity, whatever you're creating on your client. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
they get to unleash and have fun. But the ones, the soccer moms can be pretty wild too behind the
Oh
scenes.
fuck yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Those are
Well
the
then
ones like, where'd that come from? What the fuck? Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah. And well, I mean, it's funny because that is like literally a conduit in which gossip travels, I mean, and women will tell you things in the salon, woman to woman. And then like other salons, it was almost like where I grew up and like where I tried to like, build this network that I wound up building, right? It was like, you know, there were like warring factions, so they would come after each other. Like no, there was like some allegiance. I remember one time I threw a party and I like pulled off. It was like all of the salons together for this fashion event, and like they got along to get on the flyer and get to the party. But man, like did I stop some serious wine throwing or whatever. So but I love that it's like a high. Yeah, but it's just like a high energy, high fashion, like sexy environment. Like you guys will talk about like anything that you wouldn't talk about at home with your boyfriend or your husband is getting said in the salon.
Yeah. I always said I thrive on chaos, right? That's true. And then I'm like, there'd be times you'd be cutting someone's hair, and then the next client was talking about having an affair with the previous one's husband, and you're like, oh, well, you should all just swing.
Yeah, just get over it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like a fucking church in that way that they share the most intimate things, right? Like to your stylist, which is
And sometimes we
absolutely
don't want to
crazy.
know some of them too.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I was privy to some of the gossip and some of the cheating. So there's that too. Yeah, nightlife. I 10 out of 10 would recommend anybody do it. And then start a podcast. Okay, so you
Mental note.
start. Yeah, I hope you guys are taking notes. So when you started, like you started your OnlyFans, was it in 23? You started
Um,
it or 22?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Like
Okay.
probably around this time, October maybe of 23.
Sure.
Yes.
Um, and was it an instant success? Like, were you making like tons of cash, like right out of the gate, or was there like a moment where you doubted yourself? Like, because I
I
feel like a
doubt
lot of
myself every day.
you should not do that. You should stop that. But
um,
that's human.
yeah, I mean, so like I said, I had no idea what like when I met that couple and they were like, they said they would like to collab with you, and I'm like, what's a collab? You know, I didn't even know what a collab was. It was hysterical. And then I'm like, at that point, I'm thinking, it's just modeling. I'm like, you want me to fuck your husband while you're watching? Really? I'm like, can I do that? Okay, I'll try it. You know?
Oh my gosh.
No, really. So I didn't know. I was learning how to navigate through that platform. And then I met a friend who was starting as well. And he was like, I'll help you as much as I can. And then I let him help me until I realized that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I needed to know, right? I needed to know. So then I kind of jumped in and I started taking it really serious probably at the beginning of the year. So it's consistently growing. It could always be better, right? But I guess that's all we could ask for is to keep getting better each month. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like you get what you put in kind of thing. And I just feel like it's a grind, right? Just like podcasting or anything else.
Yeah, now I have help too. And I have people that actually give me the correct information and get me set up for success. Because I was doing things wrong and I didn't even know it, you know? So, but it's okay. Because that's how you learn, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have multiple questions. My brain is like on fire right now. So number one, let's go back to the couple. So you get this person's like, oh, this couple wants to, I'll hook you up. Go, here's their address, right? Or whatever. Do you get on the phone with them first or do you just go over there?
I just went over.
So you thought you were going to like
photographer set it up.
Okay.
You know,
yeah. So was he there too?
No.
Okay, so he sends you over to the house and you go over there and you really truly thought you were just going to like do some modeling with this couple?
Well, at that point in time, I knew we were just going to talk. They were going to explain, you know, like explain OnlyFans and their platform, which they did. And they were so thorough. And they were like, okay. And then the subject of testing came up. And they were like, okay. And they explained, this is where you go. This is what you get tested for. They made sure, like, I knew moving forward what to look for from other people too, you know? So, yeah.
Well, and at what point do they say like, oh, like, so when they're like, okay, we're going to have sex with each other. It's going to be a threesome or whatever it was. Like, how did they would just come out naturally or what did that look like?
Yeah. Well, so they were sharing their content. Like I was looking at our pages and stuff and, you know, we talked about, getting tested and I went like the next day, you know, but looking at the stuff and I'm thinking, oh boy, what did I get myself into? So, but we did some reels and some social media stuff and, I mean, it went well, obviously. So
yeah, no, for sure.
I remember thinking, am I supposed to enjoy this? Am I supposed to pretend like I'm enjoying, like, you know, I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know?
Yeah. So what was that scene like? It was one guy and you and another woman? Threesome or?
That was, with him, a boy girl with him. And then we did a double blowjob scene with her and I. And then it was basically like her and I were masturbating in a scene. And then I used a dildo on her, which was my first time that I've done that. And I watch it now and I go, I just want to do that over. Because I looked like I was going to be afraid I was going to hurt her. Now I'm like, give me a strap on and I'll fuck you good.
Yeah. Because you've been doing it for a while.
If you guys are watching this, I want a rematch. No, I'm not.
We will make sure that we find out who they are and send this to them for sure.
Yeah.
So when you were like testing, oh shit, sex, and you saw their stuff, and they're like, okay, you know, that period in between meeting them and then coming back for the shoot, were you like, I can't do this? Were you nervous? Or are you just like, what? Like you're just like confused?
No, I was like, how fast these test results going to get back?
Yes. No, that's awesome.
Like,
no, that's great.
They're going to get back.
So what did you land on? Should you enjoy this or should you not? Did you finally but like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna give in and just be myself, or were you trying to like put on a show more in the beginning?
Not in the beginning. So it's funny because like as things progressed, right, and I was meeting other people, creators, they would ask me, "Oh, did you come from the lifestyle? Are you a swinger?" And I'm like, "What's the difference? Isn't it the same?" I'm like, "It's the same." I'm like, "If you're fucking somebody else's husband, it's all the same." But moving now, I know there obviously is a difference, But again, I was clueless.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think where were we going with that? I'm sorry.
Well, just basically like, your level of
Oh,
when
comfort.
you were yeah, like where you landed on like, oh, I'm just gonna get into this. Like even though she's here, even though it's like a double whatever, like it's a fucking boy girl thing. Like how long did it take you to be like, fuck this? Like I'm gonna get off on this. Like I'm gonna have fun.
From the first one, because in my mind, that was what you're supposed to do. Because I didn't know
Yeah,
any different because I hadn't done studio work yet. Remember?
sure.
So from the
Yeah.
first one, and I don't know, he might have thought, "Whoa, this woman's crazy," but I was like, "Fuck this! If I'm getting up here, I'm getting on and off." You know?
Yeah, no, I love that, and there is a huge difference between OnlyFans and studio work,
Yeah.
and now like you're doing the transitions for me, which I incredible guys, thank you. So so you how long do you shoot OnlyFans content before you go into the mainstream stuff?
So as I was moving forward in the career, like I ask every time meet somebody or shoot with somebody, I always ask them, like if you could do one thing over again, what would you do? What would you do different if you could? And I would get different answers, obviously, but I kept getting this answer. I wish I would have taken it serious sooner.
Okay.
And the little bell went off in my head, and um, you know, at that point in time, I was doing business coaching, and I thought, I'm coaching all these businesses, teaching them how to grow. It's sink or swim. I'm like, so I was like, fuck it, I'm quitting my job, which I did, and I was like, I'm gonna put 100. At that point, I'm like, if I'm putting 70 hours in for somebody else, I could be putting that into my own investment into myself, right? So
Hmm.
that's when I decided to jump in, be
Hell
first.
yeah. No, and were you terrified or what?
No, no,
Good.
because I am like, when you get to know me, and all my friends will tell you, like, I was talking to my one neighbor today and I was telling her about this, and she's like, I have to tell you, I'm so impressed. She goes, everything you like, there's no other option but to succeed. Like, I keep saying someday somebody's going to regret not answering my email to sign me, and it's okay because I know I'm not everybody's brand, and not everybody's looking for a petite brunette, or not everybody's looking for a MILF, right? And there's a look, but, I'm a hustler. I'm ambitious, and yeah. So,
No, I love that. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what came across like, when I first I was chatting with Erica and your name came up and she sent the notes over and that would it's usually you get I get like sort of a mental intuitive picture of somebody, but I don't really like I have the notes here, but I don't really my process is like I sort of get a feel for who I think the person is, and then I just go into it, right? I don't like to like overdo. I might have some bullet points and a couple notes. And with you, I got this like from one Google search and then the notes, I just got this idea of like exactly what you said, like someone who is a hustler who's not afraid to like really go for it, because those are two different. You need both, right, to really
Yeah.
succeed at anything. You can
That's
hustle and just go through the motions, then you can hustle and be like, no, fuck it, what can I do that's like way over here? I don't even need to be doing this, but now it's a regular thing kind of thing. And that's what I got from you. And I think that's really fucking awesome, because I feel like, and you could talk to them, like there's a lot of women and I would never out anybody, right? But like, I have so many women over the years, and especially since starting the show, who have asked me, like, I want to do OnlyFans, I want to do, loyal fans, I want to do mainstream, and I'm just so fucking terrified of being that that mom at the fucking soccer field that everyone's pointing at, or like somebody finding out. Like, what do you suggest? So I'm putting the question to you, right? Like, talk to them. Like, how do they get over it and push through? How do they know it's something they even want to do? How does someone really go for it on OnlyFans and forget about the guilt and all that shit?
Well, I mean, I've had many people ask me that actually. So first,
Sorry.
I tell them all the time. Like, first of all, like, they need to think, they need to be good with that decision themselves. First of all, right? And if it's like, it's not easy by any means. And if they really want to, they could try it. Like, I've heard creators cover their face or not show their face. At least it would give them a taste of what it would be to perform in front of a camera, because a lot of times they can't even do that. They don't
Yeah.
even know, right?
Mhm.
So at least that way it does shield them a little bit. But you really need to be confident in your decision, because it's a matter of when it's going to come out, not if, it's when, and there's ways, obviously, you could protect it. I mean, stay as a content creator, right? And just limit to where you market yourself, I suppose. But if somebody really, really wants to get into the industry, they need to decide what their brand is. They could be anonymous, of course,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
but that there's no right or wrong answer. It's all, everybody's different. But listen, I got outed within 2 weeks.
Oof.
Yeah.
What did that feel like? How did that happen?
Oh, it was interesting. So I got a phone call from my son.
Oh God.
Yeah, my oldest, and he's like, "Mom, what you doing?" I'm like, "Getting ready to go smoke." And he's like, "Are you bored or broke?" And I was like, "What's that have to do with smoking weed?" I'm like, what the? And he said something about, I can't remember exactly what he said, and then he said something Abby, and I just got real quiet. And he said, "Did you know that you're on the main page of Pornhub?" And I said, "I did not." And I said, "How did you find out?" And he said, "A friend of his said, sent him a screenshot and said, 'Hey, isn't this your mom?'" And I was like, well, my first thing was, "I'm sorry. I hope I didn't embarrass you." Because that was my biggest concern. And his biggest concern was I was doing it because I had to and I was broke. So he was like, "As long as you know what you're doing, and as long as you're being safe and careful." And he goes, "And why didn't you tell me?" Like,
Oh.
what am I supposed to say? I said, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's fucking beautiful. That's awesome. Like, that's what a great. I would imagine, and that's the thing, right?
My heart was
Ever?
going,
Oh God, yeah. I could only imagine as a mom, and your son's calling you like, "Did you know you're on the front page of Pornhub?" Holy shit! Yeah, I mean, but I think you're speaking to it, right? A lot of people are fucking horrified of that moment, and then there you are, and it's okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I raised my children to be non-racist, not judgmental. You know what I mean? I gave them that hoping. And I think their response was pretty much showed that I did a good job, because
Fuck
he
yeah.
made me call my other ones and tell them.
So were they all supportive when you told them?
Yeah, but he said, "You better call and tell so-and-" that. And I
Yeah.
went, he goes, "They're both in college. What do you think their friends are looking at?" And I was like, oh. Like, who's being the parent here,
Right, of course.
Yeah.
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 So did you get pushback from one of your kids? Like, you need to stop this now.
No. Actually, my daughter, who's the youngest, she's like, "You think I could sell foot pictures?" And I was like, "Don't tell your father."
Yes, that's so funny.
I'm like, just don't tell her.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So did she sell the feet pictures or what?
No.
You know what?
No, I mean, I don't know. She says the one thing she said to me was, "I don't care what you do as long as I don't have to see them."
Yeah.
At it.
Yeah.
And well, I hope you're not looking at it, but if you come across it, just swipe left.
Keep on scrolling. Yeah, whatever. No, I think that's, you know, I had Tori Black on the show over the summer, and she told a similar story that she had, you know, and I'm riffing here, but basically like gotten out of the industry, moved, you know, far away, and tried to shield her kids, and then it happened anyway.
Yeah.
And her kids were, or I think her son was just like, same thing. Like, it's cool, Ma. You know what I mean? Like, you do you. Like, that's, you know, that's awesome or whatever. And, you know, and she's like, that's how I knew I was a good parent, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny now, I'll get a picture, like my daughter, she'll send me a picture in a dress. What do you think? And I'm like, that's beautiful. And she goes, well, I really can't afford it. You know, that's like, you know, like.
Yeah, they want some of that fucking Pornhub money. Yeah. That OnlyFans cash. That's so funny. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm like, how much is it?
So when did you realize that, okay, I not only do I want to be on OnlyFans, but if I go like the mainstream, did you go looking for the mainstream, or did the mainstream come find you?
I went looking because I've always loved acting. Like I've always been into acting and into performing. And I reached out to a gentleman here in the Tampa area who does a lot of mainstream. And I was like, hey, any connections in the area? And he right away sent me to, can I say studio, the name?
Yeah, say whatever you want.
Yeah, Play Studio in Tampa. And, you know, right away, you know, they called me immediately. And I did my first pro shoot for Nookies. Yeah, the Nookies website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was what was that, a boy girl, or was it something wild?
No, it was a boy girl and then a hand job scene. So.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're actually still doing hand job scenes out here. That's fucking crazy. That's
They're
awesome.
selling. Apparently, those are really popular, and I can give a really good hand job.
Okay, so what about your hand job do you think makes it really good? Because to me, now that I'm thinking about it, hand jobs have like, well, at least in my world, like I feel like we haven't done hand job things like my girlfriend and I are in a long time. So what the fact that they're popular is kind of blowing my mind, which is maybe just feels like a more of a real natural thing. But what about your hand job is like gangster?
I should just make you go watch it now. No, no, but truly, I think it's no, and it really, like the performer, it was less than 3 minutes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of creative. I'm big into like, you know, I've heard that a challenge is getting talent to talk or be vocal. I love to talk, you know. I like to tease, right? And lead up to, not just go. Yeah, it's like saying hello, waking up, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Happy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think, you know, you have to set the table before you fucking pull the whatever out. What the hell? Why the fucking tablecloth, right? You have to like whatever I'm trying to say. Like you can't, you're right, you can't go in hot just whacking around. So you have to kind of like it's mental, right? More, I mean, as much as it is physical. I would imagine from what I remember about hand jobs. But okay, so you do.
Girlfriend kind of yours. And
we're on some other shit right now. So, totally. Yeah. But that's so interesting to me. Like that. So you do so that was a two scenes that you shot, right, in your first go. And did you leave those scenes thinking like, God damn, okay, all right, I got this, right? And then where does it go from there? Like, do you start to get it? Because I'm looking at a list of obviously some of the studios you shot with. DP Diva sticks out, so I want to know what that's all about. Like, how fast did it get crazy? And were you like, fuck yeah, let's roll? Or like, how what's your journey like in the mainstream after that first scene?
Well, the producer was pretty impressed that was my first time shooting, right? And
yeah, that 3-minute hand job,
like, pretty pivotal, helping me move forward too. Connecting me with my agent and all of that. So everyone keeps saying, what do you do? What do you don't do? And I'm like, I'm 55. You can't surprise me,
right?
But I mean, I'll be honest. Like, so when I did my first anal scene, I had such a great experience with them, and that was for Perv City, right? And he also shoots for DP Diva, and he's like, well, when you're ready to do a DP scene, you come back. And I go, when do you want me to come back? Like, before I get, like, literally. So my next trip out to LA, like, I literally scheduled it, and some people say, oh, you're doing too much too fast, like, to hold back.
Yeah.
Give people something to look forward to, but there's always going to be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, got to be creative. How many times I hear, oh, I've done that scene. That scene's been done so many times. Well, maybe, but not with me. And I'm going to put my own twist on it, So.
Yeah, it's your brand. Yeah.
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 Or let's think of something else.
Yeah. Come up with, get creative, guys. Right?
Hang me upside down. Okay, just don't drop me. That's what.
Yeah, for sure. When you did anal, obviously, like, so did you have experience with anal in your private life? I mean, you said you're 55, whatever, obviously. So were you doing a lot of anal, like, for OnlyFans, or was this like a mainstream? Like, where did the anal thing come from? And were you nervous to do it on camera for a big studio?
So as far as in my personal life, I mean, I don't really have one anymore.
Yeah. Well, previously,
prior, like, I'd never mind anal play. It wasn't something like that. We went straight to anal sex.
Sure.
It would be like occasionally, but it was nothing that, certainly, obviously, I wasn't afraid of it. So I was already experienced. But as far as on camera, I was like, oh man, I got to put my ass up in the air. And, after you have a few kids, you're like, it's not as pretty down there as it used to be, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, you're very intimidated. And like I said, they were amazing. They were just amazing to work with. So comfortable. And like, I highly recommend new talent who's considering, and even ones that are not filming anal, I'm like, when you do, go to them, because again, it's not like you just are not bend over and I'm gonna slam your ass, right? You gotta work into it.
Yeah, you have to, again, like, use those details, take it, be subtle, and like again, set the table for you. Yank the fucking tablecloth out and shove it in someone's ass, because that's like, that takes, I mean, you're right. Like, there's fucking tons of lights. They need to take pictures, like all.
And so my DP scene, like, I never did that even in my personal life.
Yeah.
So right about a week, maybe prior to my trip out there, I'm like, calling a couple of friends. And I'm like, I can't go out there and look like a deer in the headlights. Can you come over? Are you guys tested? Can you come over? And they're like, okay. I'm like, don't hurt me. Like, just don't hurt.
So were these people that you had shot OnlyFans with prior, like one-on-one? Did they know each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you done?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great way to to make money and to do content and do things you enjoy is to have a group and get comfortable with those people and everybody gets tested. So had you done a scene with those two guys together before, but just not DP, like for OnlyFans? No. Okay. So, so how did that go? How did the practice DP go at home?
I mean, it went good. It went good.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be great to put it on a DVD. Because who shot it for me? The guy who shot it for me. But I mean, we all agree it's good. It's very good, but could have been better. But I was nervous, and then I had two big fucking cocks coming at me, and I was like, "Oh boy!" I'm like, "Who's gonna wear? You know, like, who's gonna wear first?" You know.
So this was you practicing with your two friends.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did it end up? Did you guys talk about, okay, we're gonna do this position first, you're gonna go here, or did you kind of just go for it?
So we had like a friend that shoots has a studio in Tampa. He came to my house because I wanted to be comfortable with two men in front of a camera, not just a camera on a tripod, you know, and stuff like that. So we had a little bit of guidance, but you know, trial and error. But it'll be coming out on my OnlyFans.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask if is it available. So you keep answering my questions before I asked them. This is great. I don't have to talk as much. This is awesome. So then you go to do the studio DP, right? How did that go? Did the practice help?
Well, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you have you seen any of those trailers for that, or have you? Because if you haven't, you see, like it was amazing. It was amazing, and like it was so intense, and it was good. You know, very good.
Yeah.
Great. It was great. I would love to own that content.
I have a feeling they would let you probably buy it, you know, in the future or something. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, they're probably, yeah. Well,
sooner or later it'll be leaked out like everything else, right?
The first, I mean, you know, and again, like the people that I talk to around the show, on the show, you know, we've had so many people. It's just me here and my editor, you know, who edits this stuff is watching this in the future somewhere. But lots of people on the show have talked about how incredible a DP feels. And that seems to be one of that, and like a gangbang are like these fantasies that women who are only comfortable enough to tell you will tell you, like, oh yeah, all women have those fantasies, that it's human and all this stuff. So, and you actually got to experience these things. So what did it feel like to finally sort of like live that out? Was it everything you thought it would be? I mean, you said it was good. And like, did you have an orgasm while you were okay? Tell me all the things.
I'm so vocal, and like, yeah, I mean, you could tell in my stuff, like you could tell when I'm real. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I'm actually doing content with them when I go back next week.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
With the guys that I film. So I will, not that kind of content, but you know.
Right. So what does an orgasm feel like? Is it as mind blowing as we hear?
Yes. I mean, okay. So obviously, I feel like you have to be comfortable with your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be comfortable with your body, and you have to be relaxed. So if you're not totally relaxed and in the moment, I would imagine you'd still have a good orgasm, but
yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's one of these things that people think is so slutty or taboo or like whatever, and yet everyone's thinking about it, right? Like, you know, and I just think that's so, and I think it, you know, it like there's a reason why for, you know, tens of thousands of years there's been like orgies and, guy girl, like all these fucking things. And I think it's wild that no one, I mean, it's another reason why I started this podcast, to have conversations like this, where it's like a fucking normal thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like the work you're doing, it sounds like you're having a fucking blast. So,
I am.
so
Everyone always says, you're so fun. And I'm like, good, I hope so. Like, I want to be fun,
yeah, absolutely. You're definitely fun. So have you thought about doing a gangbang? Do you think you ever will? Have you done one? I mean,
have I done one? No.
Okay.
Have I talked? I'm in the process of planning one.
Okay. So it's coming. How many gentlemen are we thinking about?
I mean, I'm not sure. I would like to use every male talent that has been kind of pivotal in my career and helped me grow and gave me a chance, helping me start out. So I kind of would like to use, that, because that's important to me. I'm all about empowering each other and helping each other, so
Yeah.
that'll be the biggest challenge, is seeing everyone's availability, right? Yeah.
Trying to schedule a gangbang. They're trying to get everyone's calendar in 2025.
Like, I'm gonna have to send a save the date like they do for weddings.
Yeah, I mean, at least a Google. I mean, I don't know how you do it without a Google Calendar. You know what I mean? Invite, at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, I started doing that for my collabs, even, like, and like
you have to. Yeah.
And still, they'll still forget.
Yeah. Well, we're all human.
And I do that too. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like that person that relies on the confirmation.
Yeah, I think a big part of my anxiety probably comes from triple checking my Google Calendar. Like, oh, there's nothing on this day. Why is there nothing on this day? Like, oh shit, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So far, so good.
Balance, right?
Yeah, no, there's nothing balanced in my life. Everything is to the extreme. Which, I think we're all feeling that a little bit around this time of year. Okay, so the gangbang is coming. You've been in mainstream. You're doing OnlyFans. I mean, you did anal, you did a DP. What are some of the other wilder things that you have done on OnlyFans or in the mainstream? Because I see Team Skeet on here. I see all these high big baller player studios on here, mm-hmm. and like you start out your OnlyFans doing a fucking with a swinger couple or whatever, so what other wild shit have you done besides the DP and anal and all that?
I mean, just I guess boy girl, like some foot scenes. I did for the mom swap scene. I was getting booked a lot for the stepmom role, mm-hmm. or teacher, obviously, which is fine because I kind of think it's cute, a lot of these.
Sure, yeah.
Like I'll meet like the talent and I'm like, I'll say, what's the oldest that you've had sex with? And they're like, you. And I'm like, oh. They're like, I'm like, and they're kind of like afraid.
Yeah, you got to put them on notice like right away.
I'm like, really? I'm like, geez, because in my mind, I'm not 55 now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have never, and it's not in the notes. You know what I mean? So I would have never guessed that age. Not even close. And if you guys are listening to this, don't stop listening. So finish it out on your audio experience, then go watch the YouTube video. If we're still on YouTube, who knows at this point? But yeah, no, I would never have guessed that. I love that you sort of say that to them too, like right away. You said mom swap. Will you explain to them what mom swap is? Because this is one of the most popular things. There's mom swap, there's sister swap, there's daughter swap. So like explain what this is. This is taboo thing. It's very popular on Pornhub.
Yeah. So I played, obviously there was me and my stepson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's important.
My friend and her stepson.
Sure.
So we wanted, a family game night. So we played a naughty game of Twister. We ended up obviously starting with each other's sons and
Sure.
then swapped through the scenes and then ended up the four of us entangled in a foursome scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is interesting because I feel like all the scenes are constructed in a way where it's like you like, oh, I could never do that. Are you cool with that? Oh, yeah. Why not? Let's do it. So you swap sons, right? It's not stepsons. Jesus. You swap stepsons. And then at some point you wind up swapping stepsons back, usually, and it becomes like a whole other like level of taboo, which
Right.
I feel like psychologically that's why it's so popular. It's because it's so taboo. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just at Exotica, New Jersey, and I noticed that I didn't see any like mom swap hoodies. I didn't see any like daughter to teen, like I'm like, where's the merch? Like, I want to be walking around wearing one of those just to fucking flip people out. I'm at Exotica, you know what I mean? So is it fun for you to do that wild taboo shit? Do you get off on that? Because it's like super interesting.
I think it's fun to do it because I know that fans love it, and I'd like to give what fans like,
Right.
I always have fun with that. And I probably need to stop calling them kids because I do, and shame on me because they're not young adults, but literally I'm such a joker and I just it's important to have a connection.
Yeah.
Even in the studio, right? Because if there isn't, the camera doesn't lie. We already said that. So I'll just with them and I'll be like, making little jokes and stuff like that. So to me, it doesn't bother me, not at all working with them. A couple times I will be honest that I went, oh gosh, he looks like my son, like literally resembled. I'm like, I don't know. And then one girl, I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like my daughter. And I was like, that's awkward, but
yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. It's a little too real with that. Like, yeah,
that's
that would
why
be.
they did it though. Like with like Jade Green, like we look like. She keeps saying, "You look like you could be my aunt." She's trying to be polite because she doesn't. And I'm like, "No, it's okay. I'm old enough to be your mother."
Well, we just had her on the show, and she's a fucking blast too.
I love her. But
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like
you guys
even our
do
personalities and our energy.
Totally. Yeah, you guys could totally be related. Or wait, step or whatever the fuck. But they do try to fucking pair you up with someone who looks like, and like, there's a bunch of fucking the step mom and the stepdaughter with the dude, with the boyfriend or with the whatever. There's all that shit too. Like whatever. But I just think, I don't know. There's some adult talent that it like is very vocal that they don't like that. It's too incesty. It's too whatever. But
that's okay.
Sure. They're like, well, they always, I get these things that kind of make us do it or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, and then other people are like, no, I think it's fucking hot or I don't mind or whatever. But I just think like either way, it's there. And for some reason, the public is embracing it a lot more than you would, right? They're not going to wear the hoodie, right? But they're looking up sister swap, mom swap, like on Pornhub, like nonstop. Like that's their go-to thing. There's got to be a reason, right?
I would probably wear the hoodie, but not like in my local neighborhood.
Yeah, I feel like people would be looking at me at Exotica, and that's saying a lot. So if I wore a mom swap hoodie like to the grocery store,
it's bad enough if I wear my DP Diva, they're like,
yeah, they don't know. Yeah, they're like, some people know, some people don't. Yeah. I have a growing collection of amazing, maybe offensive hoodies, which is, Yeah, which is a really awesome thing for the porn industry. I want to ask you something here at the end because you already gave some incredible advice on how to start an OnlyFans, but you mentioned something. You always ask people what they wish they would have done sooner. So, Abi James, what do you wish you would have done sooner?
I probably took ownership of my own business, like, and not relied on other people to learn, that probably that, definitely. And I don't know. Other than that, nothing, because I am that person that if I fuck up, it's okay. I'm going to learn something and I'm not going to do it again. And then I'm going to share what I learned with the next person. Because I started when I first started doing content, I started like a mama's cub then here and like new content creators that we would get together and just share ideas and stuff like that. And unfortunately, gotten a little busy, but I still like that's important to me because I seeing younger talent, new talent. That's a better word.
Sure.
Starting and hearing them in studio, they're clueless. They are misguided. They think they're like, I don't know why I'm not getting booked. My agent's not doing anything. And I'm like, but what are you doing? Because you have to be accountable for your career. We have an agent to make sure we're safe, right? And to make sure we don't go with shady people. But at the end of the day, you got to promote yourself.
Yeah. No, fucking amazing answer. I mean, you've done a lot in a very short time. I think it's a ton to be proud of. You got some big things. Yeah, no, you got some big things coming up. Abi James, thank you for being a rock star. Thank you for being on Sex Party. Where, of course, I would have you back anytime. I could talk to you for hours, actually. Where can these party goers find you on social media? Where can they find your OnlyFans and just take barrels of cash and dump it out on you?
Well, you could always send me the cash anywhere. No, but on my OnlyFans, you could find all of my links on my link tree, which is Abi James XXX. Okay. But most of my social medias are all Abi James, the number 3 and X. And that's my VIP page from OnlyFans or Abi James. So it's pretty
amazing.
easy.
Yeah, no.
Try to keep it simple.
Yeah, you gotta. It's all about the.
Off of TikTok a million times, and then you got to put the underscores and all that shit.
Yeah, it gets fucking complicated. Yeah, for sure. Well, I've loved having you, and I would love to have you back. We'll have to set that up. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Big thank you to my guest, Abi James, for being with me on the show this week. Go check out everything she is doing on OnlyFans, on Loyal Fans. Go buy some content, dump some money out on her. Follow her on social media. If you're loving guests like Abi, you want to see her again. She will be back at some point in the future. But you're loving Sex Party and you want to show that love. How do you do that? Well, if you're listening to this on platforms like Apple or Spotify, you could leave a rating. You could leave a review, but honestly, fuck it. Don't do those things. What you want to do is you want to subscribe to the show. That way you never miss a new episode every single Wednesday, especially if you're subscribed or you think you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts. They've been unsubscribing people for whatever reason. So go to Apple Podcasts, go to Sex Party with Dustin Rybka. Up at the top, upper right-hand corner, if you see anything but a check mark, if you see a pause button, if you see a smiley face, I don't know, whatever it is, click on it. Drop-down menu will appear. Tap resume subscription, resume downloads, bing, bang, boom, you're resubscribed. If you're watching on YouTube, I love you, I see you. If you're watching on YouTube, have you ever thought about getting into OnlyFans work, mainstream porn, anything like that, right? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what stopped you from doing it. If you are watching on YouTube, what can you do to show some love to the show? Well, you could like this video. You could like all the videos. You could leave comments. I love going back and forth with you guys. But the main thing is, you know what I'm going to say? You want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss a new episode. every single Wednesday. As always, I'm available in the DMs on Instagram, and I will see you all right back here next week.
Thanks for listening. The party continues next week. Click subscribe and let's make this a regular thing. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at SexPartyFM. Follow Dustin at Dustin Rybka.